this particular video, we are going to be talking about sequence and series. Let's start, guys. If we are talking about sequence, sequence simply means the set of numbers arranged one after the other, in which the next number is gotten from the previous number by a particular rule. If you have some numbers arranged consecutively, in which the next number is gotten from the number before it by a particular rule, that is referred to as what? Sequence. So the partial sum of sequence is called series. So that is that. So sequence simply means numbers arranged consecutively one after the other, in which the next number is gotten from the previous number by a particular rule. So the partial sum of the sequence is what we refer to as what? Series. Now let's talk about sequence. Now if we are talking about sequence, it can generally be subdivided into two. We have the arithmetic progression, which we call AP, and we also have the geometrical progression, which we call GP. So don't forget that once we are talking about a sequence, a particular rule is going to be guiding a particular sequence. So based on this rule, that is why we can have the arithmetical progression and the what? Geometrical progression. Then let's talk, guys. What is the rule for AP? The rule for AP is actually common difference. Common difference. The rule for GP is actually common ratio. So guys, do not forget the sign for common difference is D, common ratio is R. So when we have some set of numbers arranged consecutively one after the other, in which the previous number is gotten from the number before it by a particular rule, those set of numbers can be referred to as what? Sequence. So generally, we can have the sequence to be the first term T1, the second term T2, the third term T3, the fourth term. So this is the first term, second term, third term, fourth term. That is the first number, the second number, the third number, the fourth number. Do you get that? So what you have to note now is that this second term will be gotten from the third term. Sorry, this second term will be gotten from the first term by a particular rule. The rule that will be guiding second term with first term will be the same rule that will be guiding third term to second term, fourth term to third term. So the general formula for the common difference D is actually D is equals to Tn minus Tn minus 1. And this simply means that our common difference D can equals to T2 minus T1 or T3 minus T2 or T4 minus T3. That's the general formula for common difference. But now, if you are talking about the common ratio, the general formula for common ratio R is equals to Tn over Tn minus 1. That is say your R can equals to T2 over T1 or T3 over T2 or T4 over T3. That's the general formula for common ratio. So therefore, guys, the next thing we have to note is that there is a general formula for the nth term of an AP. The nth term. The nth term is represented as Tn. So the general formula for the nth term of an AP, that is Tn is is equals to A plus N minus 1D. But if it is for GP, the general formula for the nth term of the GP is Tn is equals to AR raised to power N minus 1. So therefore, guys, what does it mean? This A simply means the first term. A is first term, D is the common difference, N is the number of terms, and it is usually the value below the each nth term. While Tn is what? Nth term. So this simply means that the number of terms for the first term is 1, the number of terms for the second term is 2, the number of terms for the third term is what? 3, and so on like that. So this simply means that for T2, our N is equals to 2. So that is that. So therefore, the next thing you have to note now is that there is a general expression. Guys, from this general formula I have here, this simply means that my T1 can equals to A. The reason why my T1 can equals to A is because for T1, our N is equals to 1. So if I should put 1 here, that will be 1 minus 1, that is 0. 0 times D is what? 0. So my T1 is equals to A. The next one is my T2 is equals to A plus D. And the reason why it can be D is because for T2, our N is equals to 2. So if I put 2 here, that will be 2 minus 1. That is 1. 1 times D. So therefore, my T2 is equals to what? A plus D. Also, my T3 is equals to what? A plus 2D. So for T2, our T1 is equals to A. But for T2, that will equals to, for T2, our N is equals to 2, right? So if I should substitute this 2 here, that will be 2 minus 1. That is 1. 1 times D. So therefore, my T2 will equals to A plus D. The same thing for my T3. That would equals to, so for my T3, my N is equals to 3. That will be 3 minus 1. That is 2. That will be what? A plus 2D. So we are going to be following this. That trend, then T4 will equals what? A plus 3D. So if it is T5, that will be what? A plus 4D. And if it is T100, that will be what? A plus 99D. The same approach is applicable to geometrical progression. So for your geometrical progression, your T1, your N is equals to 1. So if I should put 1 here, this will equals, T1 is equals to AR. You know that my N is 1, that is 1 minus 1, that is 0. A raised to power 0. N raised to power 0 is what? 1. So therefore my T1 is equals to what? A. My T2 would equals, so for my T2, my N would be 1. So 2 minus 1, that is 1. Then R raised to power 1 is what? R. So my T2 is what? AR. My T3 would be, for my T3, my N is 3. 3 minus 1, that is 2. So that would be what? AR squared. And also for my T4, that would be what? AR5. And so on, like that. So therefore, the next thing we are going to talk about now is what we refer to as arithmetic mean. So the general formula for arithmetic mean is just A plus C over 2. So if you have two numbers and they ask you to look for the arithmetic mean of these two numbers, what are you going to do? You are going to add the two numbers together divided by 2. So the next thing we have for geometrical progression, for arithmetical progression, we talk about arithmetic mean. But for geometrical progression, we talk about what? Geometric mean. So the general formula for geometric mean is normally square root BC. So, okay, square root AC rather. So also, if you have two numbers and they ask you to look for the geometric mean, you will just look for the square roots of the multiplication of those two numbers. So before I move on, you have to know that there is another name for arithmetical progression. We call it linear sequence. So this simply means that arithmetical progression is referred to as what? Linear sequence. But for geometrical progression, we call it exponential sequence. So geometrical progression is referred to as what? Exponential sequence. The next thing I'm going to talk about now is the sum of AP. There are two formulas. There are two formulas for sum of AP. The first formula is Sn is equals to n over 2 a plus l. While the second formula is Sn is equals to n over 2 2a plus n minus 1 b. So these are the general formula for the sum of what? AP. So from here, we will also move on to the sum of GP. Then note guys, the sum of GP depends on the common ratio. The sum of GP depends on the common ratio. Number one, if the common ratio is greater than 1, the sum will equals to A open bracket R raised to power n minus 1 all over R minus 1. But if the common ratio is less than 1, the sum n will equals A 1 minus R raised to power n over 1 minus R. So you must not confuse these two formulas together. If the common ratio is greater than 1, it will be R raised to power n minus 1 over this. And thirdly, if the common ratio is equals to 1, your sum will equal to what? AA. And lastly, we have what we refer to as sum to infinity. The general formula for the sum to infinity, S infinity, is equals to A over 1 minus R. So therefore, guys, this is the summary of everything you have to know under sequence. Don't forget, we say that sequence is a set of numbers arranged one after the other. Like the first number, second number, third number, fourth number, arranged one after the other, in which each number is gotten from the previous number by a particular rule. So the sum of sequence is called what? Series. So we say that based on the rule, sequence is subdivided into two. We have the arithmetical progression, we have the geometrical progression. Arithmetical progression is also known as linear sequence, geometrical progression is also known as exponential sequence. For arithmetical progression, we talk about common difference. For geometrical progression, we talk about common ratio. The general formula for the common difference, D, is equals to Tn minus Tn minus 1, which means T2 minus T1 or T3 minus T2 or T4 minus T3. And also, the general formula for the common ratio is T2 over T1 or T3 over T2 or T4 over T3. Then there is a general formula for the nth term of a sequence. You have to know something that the nth term is represented as what? Tn. So if it is for AP, the general formula for the nth term is A plus n minus 1D. But if it is for GP, the general formula for the nth term is AR raised to power n minus 1. So therefore, for the first term T1, your T1 is equals to A. For the second term T2, your T2 is equals to A plus D. For the third term T3 is equals to what? A plus 2D. T4 is equals to what? A plus 3D. That is the for arithmetical progression. But for geometrical progression, your T1 is equals to A, your T2 is equals to AR, your T3 is equals to what? AR squared, your T4 should be AR cube. So therefore, the next thing is that there is what we refer to as arithmetical mean. The general formula for the arithmetic mean is equals to A plus C over 2. But if it is for geometric mean, the general formula is square root AC. The next thing we have to notice is that for an arithmetical progression, we have two formulas for the sum of for the sum of AP. The first formula is n over 2a plus n. The second formula is n over 2, 2a plus n minus 1d. But for the sum of GP depends on the common ratio. If the common ratio is greater than 1, this is the formula for the sum of GP. But if the common ratio is less than 1, this is the formula for the sum of GP. But if the common ratio is equal to 1, your sum of GP is equal to what? AA. And lastly, we have what we refer to as sum to infinity. The general formula for the sum to infinity is what? A over 1 minus R. Let's look at some example for this aspect. Okay guys, so we have some examples here. The first example we have here is that in the arithmetical progression, k, k plus 3, k plus 6, k plus 9. Find the common difference. You just write solution. Your T1, that's the first term, that is k Your T2, that's the second term, that is k plus 3. Your T3, that is k plus 6. Yt4 is equals to k plus 9. So the general formula for the common difference D is equals to T2 minus T1, or D is equals to T3 minus T2. If truly the value of common difference, if the value of this first common difference is the same as the second, then that simply means your answer is correct. So let's do this. So the first D will equal to T2, that is k plus 3 minus T1 minus k. So D is equals to k plus 3 minus k. K minus k is 0, so my common difference D is equals to what? 3. Or D equals T3, that is k plus 6 minus T2, that is k plus 2. So my D is equals to, use this minus to open bracket, it equals to k plus 6 minus k, minus times plus is minus 2. Sorry, minus 3. Minus 3. So therefore my D is equals to k minus k is 0, 6 minus 3 is 3. So this simply means that truly the common difference is what? Is 3. So that's how to do it. You will firstly use the first formula, you also use the second formula. If the value you get in the first one is the same as the second one, then that simply means there is what? Common difference. The next example we have here, this is the example 2 rather. They said find the first 4 terms of the sequence whose general term is given as that. That is right solution. You see the general term given to us, that is the value of your Tn. The Tn is equals to 7 times 3 raised to power n. That's the general term given to us. So therefore guys, they said we should look for the first 4 terms. Guys, that simply means we are looking for T1, T2, T3, T4. So therefore guys, for T1, my n is equals to 1, I will substitute it, that is n times 3 raised to power 1. For T2, my n is equals to 2, 7 times 3 raised to power 2. For T3, my n is equals to 3, 7 times 3 raised to power 3. And for T4, my n is equals to 4, that is 7 times 3 raised to power 4. So this one give me 21. 3 squared is 9. 9 times 3 give me 63. Then this one gives me 189. And this one gives me 567. So if you press the calculator, you are going to get an answer like that. Okay, guys. The next example we have here is that given the sequence 5, minus 3, find the 20th term, which term of the sequence is minus 75. Guys, don't stress yourself. Right solution. Whenever you have a sequence like this, and they did not make mention whether the sequence is AP or GP, what we are going to do is that we firstly look if the sequence has a common difference. If the sequence has a common difference, that simply means that what? AP. So how do we look for the common difference? We just say D is equals to T2 minus T1, or D is equals to T3 minus T2. Our T2 is 1, our T1 is 5, so D is equals to what? 1 minus 5. That gives me minus 4. Or D is equals to T3 minus T2. T3 is minus 3 minus 1. That's giving me what? Minus 4. Since the first value I got here for D is minus 4, and the second value is also minus 4, that simply means it has a what? Common difference of what? Minus 4. So to look for my 20 term, you will just remember the general formula for the AP, for the n term of an AP. The general formula is Tn is equals to A plus n minus 1 D. You remember the general formula. Since we are looking for T20, the 20 term, so we are looking for the T20. That will just equals, my A is the first term, that is 5, plus n. N is the number of terms for the 20, that is what? 20. Your n is equals to 20 minus 1D. And my D, that is the common difference, that is what? Minus 4. 20 is equals to minus 71. So therefore, that's 20 term. The next question is that which term of the sequence is minus 75? Guys, whenever they ask you to look for which term, are you there? That simply means you are looking for the value of n. So this given to you is your Tn is equals to minus 75. I will still be using the same formula here. So this simply means my Tn value is what? Minus 75. So this will be minus 75 equals, my A is the first term, 5, plus, don't forget I'm looking for my n minus 1, and my d is a common difference, minus 4. Therefore, guys, the next thing I'm going to do is that this 5, I will bring it inside here. So minus 75 minus 5, that will be what? Minus 80 is equals to n minus 1 minus 4. Put inside brackets, minus 4. The next thing is that I'm going to divide both sides by minus 4 by minus 4. This minus 4 cancel this minus 4, minus cancel minus this cancel this. That is 20 is equals to n minus 1. If this minus 1 goes to the other side, your n is equals to what? 21. So this simply means that the term of the sequence, which is minus 75, is minus 75 is what? Is 21. So that simply means that if you count from 1 to 21, the 21st term, the 21st term, the number 21st term is going to be what? The value is going to be minus 75. Okay, let's move on to the next one. The next one is this. They said find the arithmetic mean of 4 and 48, 14, 18 rather. Right solution. So whenever you are looking for the arithmetic mean, it's very simple. What you are going to do is that you will just add the two numbers together and divide it by 2. That will just be 4 plus 18 over 2. 4 plus 18 is 22 over 2, and that's equals to what? 11. The arithmetic mean is what? Is 11. So the next question we have here is this. They said find the sum of the first 8 times. That simply means right solution. We are looking for the sum of the first 8 times, S8. We are looking for S8 of a linear sequence, that is AP. Whose first term? Your first term A is equals to 6. Your last term N is equals to what? 46. So you just remember that whenever you are dealing with AP and you ask to look for the sum, we have two formulas. So if the first term and the last term is given, you are going to be making use of this formula. Sn is equals to n over 2 a plus a. You are going to be using this formula. So since I'm looking for S8, that simply means that my S8 is equals to, my n is 2, right? 8. 8 over 2. A, my n is what? The first term is 6. And the last term is what? 46. So if you do this, you are going to be getting 46 plus 6 times 4. And you are going to get what? 208. So that's the answer. Then the last question we have here is that find 5 arithmetic means between minus 3 and 21. Guys, my solution. So this simply means that what they ask you to look for here, what you are going to be doing is that you are going to put 3 letters in between minus 3 and 21. Let me represent these letters as W, X, Y, Z. Okay, let me use U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Okay, so therefore it will now be minus 3. The first time is minus 3. I will just represent the 5 arithmetic mean as 5 letters. Or let us use B, C, D, E, F. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the 5 arithmetic mean between minus 3 and 21. So this simply means the last time will be what? 21. That's it. So you are going to do like that. Then the next thing you are going to do now is this. So what the 5 arithmetic mean they ask you to look for is the value of this. So how do we do that? You see, this is the first term, this is the second term, third term, fourth term, fifth term, sixth term, seventh term. So my first term, T1, which is always equals to A. Don't forget that T1 is equals to A. The value is what? Minus 3. But this is first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Do you get that? So this is the seventh term. So this simply means that my T7 is equals to A plus 6D. Remember that T7 for an AP, your T7 will be equals to what? A plus 6D. So therefore, guys, what we're going to do is that you will now remember that if T7 is equals to 21, therefore my T7, which is equals to A plus 6D, is going to equals to 21 is equals to A plus 6D. Can you see that? You know they ask us to look for 5 arithmetic means between minus 3 and 21. The first term here is minus 3. I will then put 5 letters in between. You can use any letter. And the last one is 21. So you will now say that your T1, which is the first term, A is equals to what? Minus 3. Since we are looking for A, B, C, D, you will now say this is the first term, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. So you will now remember that your T7 is equals to what? A plus 6D. you now remember that if the value of the T7, which is here, is equals to 21, then this expression is just what? 21 is equals to A plus 6D. So therefore, remember that my A was equals to what? Minus 3. That will be 21 is equals to minus 3 plus 6D. This minus 3, I will bring it to the other side. It's going to turn to 21 plus 3 is equals to what? 60. That is 24 is equals to what? 60. Then divide both side by 6, divide both side by what? 6. Then my D, please cancel this. My D is equals to what? 4. Because 24 divided by 6 is what? 4. So once I've gotten my D, you will now remember something that this is the first term, this is the second term. This simply means that my T2 is the second term and it is equals to what? B. My T2 is B. You now remember that the general formula for T2 is what? A plus D. Do you get that? So your T2 is equals to what? A plus D. So remember that your T2 is B, that is B is equals to A. Our L is what? Minus 3 plus. Our D is what? 4. So our B is equals to 1. Okay? My T3 is equals to C. So T3 is equals to C. Remember that T3 is equals to what? A plus 2D. If the value of my T3 is C, that simply means C is equals to my A, that is minus 3 plus 2 times 4. What is 2 times 4? 8. Minus 3 plus 8, that is equals to what? 5. That's equals to 5. What is my D? This is first, second, third, fourth. So this simply means T4 is equals to D. Remember that my T4 is equals to A plus 3D. Since my value of T4 is D, D is equals to A minus 3 plus 3. My D is a common difference, that is 4. So D is equals to 3 times 4, that is 12, minus 3 plus 12, that is equals to 9. So my D is equals to what? 9. Okay, it remains E. It remains E. And if I want to do my E, this is first, second, third, fourth, fifth. That is T5 is equals to E. Remember that T5 is equals to A plus 4D. Since my T5 is E, that simply means E is equals to minus 3 plus 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is what? 16. Minus 3 plus 16, that's equals to what? 13. So E is equals to 13. And lastly, my F. This simply means T6 is equals to F. Remember that T6 is equals to A plus 5D. My T6, the value of T6 is F. That is, F is equals to minus 3 plus 5. My D is what? 4. What is 5 times 4? 20. Minus 3 plus 20. My F is equals to what? 17. So this simply means the 5 arithmetic means they asked me to put between minus 5 and 21. The first value is what? 1. The second value is what? These following examples on the geometrical progression. Let's do this first one. We said take the geometrical mean of 5 and 20. Solution. Guys, whenever they ask you to look for the geometrical mean, whenever you are looking for the geometrical mean, the formula will just be square roots. This times this, 5 times 20, that's equals to root 100. So therefore your geometrical mean is equals to 10. The next thing we have here is that find the sum to infinity of the sequence. So we have this sequence. We are looking for the sum to infinity. Just remember the formula for the sum to infinity is equals to what? A over 1 minus r. Your A is the first term. Your A is equals to what? 1. So it remains your r, which can be T2 over what? T1. So once you are looking for sum to infinity, you must always calculate the what? Common ratio r. And in order to do that, it just be T2 over T1. So if you press 1 divided by 4, divided by 1, then your sum to infinity, your common ratio is going to be what? 1 over 4. So if you try it again, press 1 divided by 16, divided by 1 divided by 4, you will still get what? 1 over 4. Since we've gotten our common ratio to be 1 over 4, then our sum to infinity is going to be a, that's the first term, 1 over 1 minus our common ratio r is what? 1 over 4. So if you press this expression, 1 over 1 minus 1 over 4, then you are going to be getting your sum to infinity to be what? 4 over 3. So the sum to infinity is what? 4 over 3. So the last question we have here is that find the sum of the first 6 terms. Solution, we are looking for the S6 of the exponential sequence. Since it is an exponential sequence, that is talking about a geometrical progression. So your R is going to be what? T2 over T1 or T3 over T2. And that's equals to 6 over 18 or 2 over 6. Then you're going to get what? 1 over 3. So our common ratio is what? 1 over 3. You'll see that 6 divided by 18 will give us 1 over 3. 2 divided by 6 will also give us what? 1 over 3. So our common ratio is that. So you now remember that before you can do the sum of a geometrical progression, you will firstly determine the common ratio. If the common ratio is less than 1, there is a formula for it. If it is greater than 1, there is a formula for it. Since the common ratio we have here is less than 1, that is 1 over 3. So therefore, my Sn, the formula I'm going to use for the sum, is going to be a 1 minus r raised to power n over 1 minus r. So your Sn is going to be, a is the first term. The first term here is what? 18. That is 18, open bracket, 1 minus my r, that is 1 over 3. My n, that is the number of terms, 6. Raised to power 6, close the bracket. All over 1 minus, and r is what? 1 over 3. So therefore, guys, you don't need to stress yourself with this. Just bring out the calculator, press 18, press the fraction button, then press 18, open bracket. 1 minus, open a bracket again, the fraction button. 1 over 3, close the bracket, all raised to power 6. Close general bracket, come down. 1 minus 1 over 3. Then your final answer for your sum is going to be 728 over 27. So that's how to do it. The last question we have here is that it said that the fourth term and eighth term of a GP is 24 and 8 over 27. So if you have your T4 is equals to 24, your T8 is equals to 8 over 27. Remember, for the sum to for GP, T4 is generally equals to AR raised to power 3, while T8 is equals to what? AR raised to power 7. So if T4 is equals to 24 and T4 is equals to AR3, this simply means that 24 and equals to what? AR3, equation 1. And also 8 over 27 and equals to what? AR7, equation 2. Since we are dealing with common, we are dealing with GP. That simply means we are going to be getting our common ratio. So for the common ratio, we usually look for what? Division. So therefore, we are going to say divide equation 1, equation 2. It's going to be the highest over the smallest. So this is the 8th term to be 8th term over what? 4 term. So we are going to divide equation 2 by equation 1. We are going to divide equation 2 by equation 1. So that will be AR raised to power 7 all over AR raised to power 3 is equals to 8 over 27 all over 24. So that's the first thing you are going to do. Then you are going to notice that this A cancel this A. If I remove R raised to power 3 from R raised to power 4, it's going to remain R raised to power, if I remove R raised to power 3 from R raised to power 7, it's going to remain R raised to power 4. And that equals, then you are going to press this on your calculator, press the fraction button, at the numerator press 8 divided by 27, come down and press 24. Press 24, then press is equals to this expression here will give you 1 over 81. So therefore, guys, the next thing I'm going to do is that you're going to bring this 4 to the other side. Then your R is going to become 4th root of 1 over 81. So the 4th root of 1 over 81 is going to be plus or minus 1 over 3. Because if you multiply 1 over plus 1 over 3 in 4 ways, if you multiply 1 plus 1 or minus 1 in 4 ways, you get 1. If you also multiply plus 3 or minus 3 4 times, you also get what? 81. That's why your R is equal to plus or minus 1 over 3. So the two possible values for R is what? Plus or minus 1 over 3. That is plus 1 over 3 or minus 1 over 3. So what remains now is to get the value of A, right? You just remember that if 24 equals ARQ, do you get that? So you're going to say that if R, the first R, is equals to 1 over 3, then 24 would equals A, open brackets, 1 over 3 or Q. This would be 24 is equals to A times 1 raised to the power 3 is 1 over 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is what? 27. So your A can equals to 24 times 27, that gives you plus 648. But also, if R is equals to minus 1 over 3, that will be 24 is equals to A, open brackets, minus 1 over 3 all raised to the power 3. So therefore 24 is equals to A minus 1 all raised to the power 3 is what? Minus 1 all over 3. So, sorry, all over 27, because A raised to the power 3 is 27. So cross multiply, that will be 648 is equals to minus A. Bring this minus to the other side, then A is equals to what? Minus 648. So the two possible values for A is what? Plus or minus 648. And the two possible values for R is what? Plus or minus 1 over 3. So this is the end of this particular video. Thank you for watching. See you in our next video.